Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome into my garden. Today I am back with another weekly update. We finally got a break from the triple digit temperatures for a little while, so I thought I'd get out here while the breeze is nice and cool and kind of show you guys what's going on. Alright, so we're going to start things off where we usually do, here in what I lovingly refer to as the tomato patch. The August garden has a tendency to get really wild as time goes on, and you know, with all of the super hot temperatures, maintenance tasks don't really hit the to-do list because it's just too hot to be out here. But I really am pleased with how well things are currently growing. So let's go ahead and take a look at stuff here and see what we got. All right, so this bed that is closest to the house here has Brussels sprouts planted all along the back row here. And I transplanted a couple more in to right here by this marigold plant. These are the Long Island improved. Not many of those germinated, and even less made it to the transplant stage. I had a tray hardening off and something just nibbled them all off, like at the soil level. I don't know if it was a roly-poly or a grasshopper or what have you, but those two were the only two that made it out to transplanting. Yes, I know they're too close together. It's an experiment to see if I can intensely plant Brussels sprouts and get them to actually form Brussels. But all of the Brussels that are growing along the back here look really great. Let's see if I can get over here to show you. The shade cloth is really helping to keep the super hot temperatures off of them, and then of course it did cool down to less than triple digit temperatures, which also provided some relief for these. So these are looking really great. They're starting to grow and put on a little bit of new growth, so I'm really happy to see that. The carrots that I planted in here have not germinated yet. I'm not too concerned about it. It can take up to 21 days for carrots to germinate, so I'm just keeping the soil moist. The shade cloth helps keep the soil cool, so hopefully we start to see little sprouts probably next week or so. All right, eggplants. These guys are massively tall. These two are officially taller than I am, so I have eggplant trees, I guess. There's not a whole lot of fruit production happening right now, and I don't know if the shade cloth kind of slowed that down, or if it was too hot, or what the issue was. But I do have one on here that I wanted to show you. This is the Listata di Giandia variety, and I wanted to show it to you because it's really variegated and really beautiful looking. That's the only one that is currently uneaten by something. I'll show you this one down here. I just noticed this morning got eaten by something, and I don't know what's eating it. I think it's a squirrel. I have seen a squirrel run along the fence there, and the kids have seen that same squirrel in this tree here. So I'm thinking that a squirrel is coming in here and nibbling because, you know, they have to eat too, they get hungry. So I need to figure out a way to deter the squirrels from eating my stuff. This middle bed still has some tomato plants. I do need to come in and do some pruning and some maintenance on these guys. They're looking a little worse for wear and wild and wayward. But there is still a lot of beautiful stuff happening here. You can see lots of blooms on this tomato plant. I believe this is part of the Super Sioux variety. And then we have this beautiful blue spice basil that's just like a giant bush at this point. We have cowpeas all the way down. All of those look really great. And then I recently transplanted my Waltham broccoli into this bed, and the other day I planted some more carrots within here. So I have 3 varieties of carrots in here. I have Amarillo and Atomic Red and Black Nebula planted between the broccolis here. And then cauliflowers and then eventually bok choy are also going to be planted within this bed, and then some more carrots. So I'm going to be removing basil soon to make some room, and I'm just gonna try to kind of plant stuff in between tomato plants for now until those come out, and then that will give me some more room as well. This bed is going to be pretty jammed full of stuff, so that'll be really exciting to see. I'm really excited for it. But the broccolis are looking really good. They've only been in here for about a week, so they're looking really good. I'm seeing new leaf growth happening on those. They're looking really happy. Not too much is nibbling them at the moment, so that's really good. Cowpeas, like I said, are all doing really great. So you can see lots of peas growing on here. Nothing to harvest on here today. That one probably tomorrow. But so we have more cowpeas there. Really awesome. That is the Phenomenal variety from Burpee, and it's done really well for me. You could almost say it has done phenomenally. Ha! And the peas themselves, they look like cows, so they're really cute. All right, so this front bed here, I have kind of cleaned it up a little bit. If you've watched the last few weekly updates, you'll know that I have had a lot of mushrooms growing in here. Down at this end, you can see some that are currently residing within the space. I had marigolds at this end. I went ahead and I cut those down because they were not doing very well. This bed gets the most sun, and the triple digits just really did a number on a few things that were in here, so I pulled them out. So the marigolds came out, and then this Persian basil that was right here, I went ahead and I cut that down, but I see some like new leaves, so I may get another flush of Persian basil. We'll see. This bed is going to have Chinese cabbages, kale, and spinach. And then I'm probably also going to have to put my regular cabbages in here as well, because I don't have space for them in those back 2 beds. So that back bed against the house obviously already has Brussels sprouts. It's also getting collard greens, and then it has carrots in there already. So I think that's gonna be pretty filled up. So I think the traditional cabbage will have to go in this one with the Chinese cabbage and the kales. We'll see. But this lime basil, I'm actually going to be cutting down today or tomorrow and getting that hanging in my dining room to dry to use for tea. I like to mix the lime basil with the holy basil and then a little bit of that blue spice that's back there whenever I make my basil tea, and it is amazing. It just has a beautiful, wonderful flavor that is really good. So what I'm hoping to do is get enough harvested and dried to be able to create a tea blend to be able to give as Christmas gifts to some family and maybe some friends. All right, this space still continues to be the absolute showstopper within the garden space. The raised beds here have sweet peppers along the fronts of both beds, and then along the backs of both beds I have my okra orchard, as my daughter Lily refers to it. I understand okra isn't actually growing on trees, but because they are so tall, we are just joking and calling it the okra orchard back here. So everything in here is doing just absolutely beautifully. You can see the okra is doing what okra does, and this will actually produce all the way up until the first frost, so I'll be harvesting okra until November, December-ish time frame, so that is really exciting. Some basils that are growing in here, more blue spice. This is actually my favorite variety to grow because I like the way it smells. Whenever you walk by it, you can smell it from 4 feet away. It's just absolutely amazing. I love it in tea. The pollinators love it whenever it's first flowering. Right now it's pretty late in the flowering stage, so it doesn't have a whole lot of pollinator activity, but the pollinators do love it whenever it first creates the flower stalks. And then this is cardinal basil that I recently cut back because it was like leaned way out into the yard. So I cut it back to get some weight off of it so it would stand back up. There's 4 banana pepper plants that I have harvested pretty heavily from all season. I need to come out and harvest again. Probably make some more pickles with these to see, or you know, as part of the Christmas gift giving situation, because there's a ton growing. We don't really eat these fresh. Really, the only thing that I do with them is pickle them. So maybe I don't need 4 plants next year. We'll see. Then over here we have bell peppers, and I am just amazed at how productive these plants have been through the triple-digit temperatures, through the lack of rain, and all of the things that typically affect bell pepper growth hasn't phased them at all. And if you're wondering if maybe they set fruit while it was cooler before it got super hot, no, they're still setting new fruits here. So they've just been a powerhouse this season, but you can see here that there's just tons of peppers on these plants. This one had the most, so I have it tied to 2 stakes here because it has 2 main branches coming off of it, and some of them did get some sun scald, so you can see little babies here that was still setting in triple digits. Some of them ended up with some sun scald, so I went ahead and pulled those off, but the rest of these are just incredibly healthy. It's a really beautiful plant. It's just, I can't believe how well the bell peppers are doing. And I know that I commented on that last week, but I'm still in disbelief about it. The squash that I did plant in here is still in here. It's still growing. It's getting quite a bit of shade between the basil, this basil here, these peppers, and the okra orchard. So it's growing a little bit slowly. However, I think because it's surrounded by all of this stuff, it is also being protected from a squash bug invasion. I'll keep you updated on that, of course, but so far, so good on keeping this guy alive. Over here, obviously more sweet peppers, some more okra. You can see it's blooming all the way up there even. So, way up there. Just, that's insane to me. Okay, anyway. Lecia pepper doing beautifully. This one, it has had quite a few peppers grow on it, but it's had a lot of sun scald issues, so I haven't gotten to eat as many as I have wanted to. That's okay. I think maybe the okra tree here will help give it a little bit of shade. These 2 plants, this one right here, and this one right here. The seeds that I planted, I thought I was planting mulatto isleno. As it turns out, these are shishito peppers. Shishito, if you're unaware, is a relatively sweet, mild, it's not sweet, but it's a relatively mild pepper. A great way to serve it is to blister it and serve it with some sort of like garlic aioli or like a wasabi mayo or something like that as an appetizer. Yesterday I made a Mongolian chicken with shishito pepper stir fry, and it was so good. My husband took the rest of it for lunch today, so I don't know what I'm gonna eat. But yeah, it was so good that nothing is being wasted. So if you want to grow like a mild pepper that can be pretty versatile, this is it. While I was really looking forward to the mulatto isleno, I'm not mad that this is what I got because it's still usable. All right, the peppers at this end haven't been as prolific. We have violet sparkle here. I'm not like super big on the flavor of these. They weren't as good as I was hoping that they would be, so I'm not gonna grow them again. And then I have the Eshvarsky. I have a couple of those, or maybe, yes, there's 2 of those. So they get a pretty good size. These are a sweet pepper. I will be using as paprika. So you can see one ripening here. And then on the end here, I have Purple Beauty bell pepper. As it gets more sun, it's actually more purple, but like this one gets a little bit more sun, surprisingly, even though it's down low on the plant. If it's more shaded, then it's a little bit more green, like this one. Although this one has like a weird sunspot or something, so I'm gonna have to cut that off. And then this basil is going to be cut down and dehydrated. This is just a culinary basil. I don't use it for tea, but I am going to cut it down and get it drying to refill my basil jar inside, because that one is almost empty. All right, not much has changed from those 2 zinnia plants other than them giving me even more beautiful red zinnias. They're kind of growing out into the yard, so whenever we mow, it's going to get a little crazy trying to figure out what to do with them, but that's okay. But the sunflower patch, I'm so happy. Okay, so this is the second planting of the sunflower patch this year. The first time it did okay. I had a couple of volunteers, and that was really where most of the blooms came from. But the second planting is doing much better. It's much healthier. The leaves are so much more vibrant, less chewed up, less critter activity over here, and I'm starting to get some blooms, and I'm not sure what variety this is, because I planted mixes in this time just to get some different variety going on, trying to get some cool fall colors happening. But I wanted to point this out because it's so cute, and I think this one's going to be a similar variety, and it's opening soon. But you can see some flower heads are forming here, so we're going to have some blooming activity for at least a few weeks here. So I'm really happy with how that's looking right now. The flower bed. Earlier in the video when I talked about the August garden growing wild and wayward, this is a little bit of what I was talking about. So a lot of the stuff is really starting to fill in now. The wind has kind of made some stuff grow sideways, but we have lots of flowers that are finally starting to bloom. Mostly zinnias that are really just showing off all the way down. These are profusion, bicolor, tons of Benary's giants blooming. And then we have Agastache, and then Gomphrena. This is another profusion. This is profusion fire. Feverfew, it's marigold here. I mean, kind of all the way down. We have several things blooming, giving a lot of color, a lot of life. There is a carpenter bee that really hovers around this salvia pretty much all day. And this variety of salvia, it's the same variety all the way down. It's actually from the same plant that I divided and planted out. This is Henry Duelberg. This is the Texas native. It is quite large and quite wild, but the pollinators really love it. There is a carpenter bee that frequents it pretty much all day long. But we have more zinnias, Gomphrena, this really cute little pale yellow zinnia here. These sunflowers. There's a few amaranth plants in there. Last year, the amaranth that I had growing was like 7 foot tall. Obviously, this one isn't that tall this year. So I'm still undecided if I'll grow amaranth next year. I like the texture that it provides for like cut flower bouquets, but because I'm trying to focus on like filling the beds for weed prevention, I'm thinking a lot more of these like low mounding type plants like these profusion zinnias would probably do a lot better for me. But we'll see. I change my mind a lot, so we'll see what happens. I wanted to point out this Benary's giant wine colored zinnia because it's so pretty. This is actually planted in Lily's section, so I'll make sure that I show her this afternoon that her zinnia is blooming because it's such a pretty color. On the subject of my kids' flower sections, this container here is Logan's, and he has his own Benary's giant in here, although that one's not quite a giant bloom yet. He also has some borage, and then it looks like it might be a little bit of nasturtium left there. Cosmo, something nibbled on, but a lot of life happening in that container. That one is also his, but it's not doing as well. But this green stalk here, this green stalk here is the cow peas and the cream peas. The last couple of weeks it hasn't had a whole ton of peas growing on it, but it has bloomed out and is starting to develop more. So should be harvesting quite a few from here soon. This is a field pea variety up here, but it is still really green and full of activity, still growing really well. So here's some down at the bottom. So overall, I am really glad that I planted this out with cow peas because one, it's kept activity going within the soil, and two, I have harvested quite a lot of peas out of here, so yay for food, right? This one can probably actually be harvested tomorrow, so pretty cool. All right. Point out this petunia really quick. This is a Prism Sunshine petunia that I transplanted in a couple of weeks ago. There's another one over there. And the reason why I wanted to point these out is because I transplanted them right whenever it reached like the peak of super hot temperatures. So I didn't even expect them to make it. The fact that they're thriving and blooming is absolutely amazing to me. That one down on that end is just going wild with bloom. And then over here is the hot pepper green stalk. There's a ton of peppers on here. I've been harvesting them here and there all week, but I really need to come through and do like a mass harvest so that I could get some jalapenos pickled. There we go, jalapenos there. Because there's jalapenos growing like crazy through here. There's a yellow one. And then we have this mushroom pepper. Has so many on it that it has like fallen over. Cayenne, doing really well. There's one that's getting ripe there. Something happened here. I don't know what's happening there, but it happened. We have anyway, there's a ton of jalapenos growing through here. I'm kind of trying to wait for these that ripen to a different color to go ahead and turn that different color before I pickle them, because I think they'll look cool in the jar, you know, yellow, orange, red, green all together and stuff. So I'm trying to wait as long as I can, but there's so many growing. I feel like if I harvest them, then I'll get another flush. And this is a spicy globe basil that got a lot bigger than I intended it to get, so I'm probably going to cut it down, get it drying with that Genovese basil, and just put it in my culinary basil jar in the kitchen. Bikini pepper, it's got quite a few little peppers on it. I am trying to be careful in here because I saw a wheel bug in here for the last 2 days, and I'm totally good with having the wheel bug because he eats other bugs, but I don't want him to bite me because I heard it's not pleasant. Or her, I guess it could be a her. Anyway, I don't want the bug to bite me, so I'm kind of trying to be careful and, you know, because it hides among the foliage a little bit. All right, strawberries. Maybe you guys can help me figure out what happened to this guy. This one got like really puny, and so I thought maybe it got too hot, so I gave it a little bit of extra water, but it just kept going downhill, and now it's crispy, and I'm pretty sure it is not alive any longer at this point. So if you guys know what might have happened here, please let me know so that I can help keep these guys from going the same way. This runner, I'm going to try to anchor into here, into this here, so it can make its way around, because this was the original plant, and it's in this pocket, this pocket, this pocket, and I just moved the newest runner here, so it just has one more pocket before it has made its way all the way around. This one is a little bit slower, but it's in this pocket, and then it's about to be anchored in this pocket once it grows just a tiny bit more. So that's my plan, is to kind of just spread those runners around as they grow. That way next year we'll have tons of beautiful strawberries. Lime tree, not much has changed. The limes are still on here and growing. I will say that's like bigger than the limes I get in the grocery store, so that's cool. The hodgepodge green stalk that has culinary herbs, tea herbs, okra, and super hot peppers. Not a whole lot has changed with it either. The okra isn't as prolific as I was hoping. Sorry, had to weave through. The okra isn't as prolific as I was hoping that it would be. Maybe I need to do some work within the soil. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, the plants are healthy, but it's just not producing as much okra as I wanted it to. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. And then on this side, Carolina Reaper, it hasn't grown a whole lot. It's just stayed kind of like a dwarf plant. I didn't start this one from seed. I bought a started plant for this one because my husband asked if I was growing any. So I wanted to get one in for him. Then I have, this is the Aleppo pepper, and then there's lemon habanero over there. It has a lot of bloom action happening. Maybe a couple of set fruits, we'll see. And then I have 2 habanero plants. As far as I'm aware, because I don't check these as regularly, there's not any reapers growing, but we'll see. Maybe it'll surprise me. That is the mid-late August garden update. Overall, wild and wayward, but wonderful. Everything is looking far better than I expected it to at this point in August, so I can't complain. But that's it for this week's weekly update. If you liked this video and you want to see how the garden progresses from week to week, please like and subscribe and comment and do all those different YouTube-y things. But until next time, go find a way to get those garden manicures. Bye!